Hello, everyone, and welcome back to DSP versus the Internet, episode 65. We're now heading into the second half of the show. All submissions tier submissions, meaning people who are, the lower tier member here are getting an equal chance to get their video watched this week. I really like this. In fact, let's listen to it a little more. I love Skyrim. I love the music. I love the ambiance, right? The whole Nordic feel to it. It's really cool. Great submission, but of course, this is something we're just going to watch for a few minutes. It's not, an hour-long video. But you can find this kind of stuff all over YouTube, right? It's too loud? Okay. All right, let's continue then if it's too loud.
Weighing 350 kilograms, this is one of the largest rice pilafs in the world.
Really? Oh
Locally
my God.
known as plav, it is the national dish of Uzbekistan.
Huh.
It is enjoyed year-round.
Uzbekistan. Where is Uzbekistan? I have absolutely no idea. I'm terrible at geography. I wonder where Uzbekistan is.
As a weekday meal and prepared on huge
How
scales
would you like to
for
make
weddings
food in
and
there?
holidays.
Look at that sucker.
Its popularity and ubiquity across Uzbekistan cannot be overstated. It is so beloved that nearly 3,000 people come to Bieshkazan Pilaf Center in Tashkent to have it for lunch every day.
Yummy.
Oshda ham odamga me'dasiga tegmaydigan taom bo'lgani uchun ham
We visited Bieshkazan to see what it takes to make such big batches.
So what's in this? Rice pilaf. I don't
Making
even
plav
know.
on this scale begins the night before. Workers start by peeling and cutting 100 kilograms of carrots and placing them into large
That's
buckets.
carrots? It would be white carrots.
In the morning, Master Chef Mirko Mill, who has been making this dish for 20 years, starts cutting 100 kilograms of mutton and beef.
Mutton.
oshpazlik ishi
Mutton.
endi hamma ishni o'ziga yarasha mashaqqati bor men uchun, lekin men o'zim shu narsaga qiziqqanim uchun unaqa qiyin bo'lmasa kerak deb o'ylayman.
He then ties the chunks of meat together. Tying the meat helps ensure it stays tender during the cooking process and prevents it from splaying. Just preparing these ingredients takes 3 hours.
Damn. 3 hours of his
While the
day,
meat
just
is
that.
being prepared, a large cast iron cauldron called a kazan is preheated and filled with 40
That is
liters
insane.
of
Look how
sunflower
huge
oil.
it is. It's got to be outdoors, right? Damn.
In Uzbekistan, it's said that the best tasting pilafs are the
We got to ask, though, right? You have to ask the question. What happens on a day when it's really bad weather? Like, what if they have a really awful day of weather where it's just like terrible rain? Or, I mean, so, do they have snow and stuff? How would you still make it? Wouldn't that ruin the dish? Right? So I wonder if they'll answer that.
oiliest. Once warm, those chunks of beef and mutton are slid into the center of the kazan and cooked until golden brown.
Wow, so the meat goes in first. Yummy. That's a heck of a way to cook the beef.
When the beef has browned, chefs work together to lift and dump 100 kilograms of cut carrots into the center, along with onions.
Oh, 2 different kinds of carrots. Onion. I love a fried onion.
This blend of carrots and onions is known as zirvak and is the general base for all plav. This base is similar to sofrito in Italy and mirepoix in France. Plav recipes used to include spinach, chestnuts, beans, and dried fruits, but most of these ingredients have been substituted. At Bieshkazan, soft raisins, garbanzo beans, dried barberries, and water are added.
Everything sounds good, right? Nothing weird. Everything sounds delicious.
After about 30 minutes, 100 kilograms of a local long-grain lazy rice is added and covered
Lazy
by
rice?
large metal plates,
She said?
which help steam the rice.
So they steam it, wow, in a pile on top of the other food.
Unlike many Middle Eastern pilafs that fry the rice, the steamed rice in plav is crumbly, soft, and airy.
That's cool.
But achieving this texture and making sure the rice doesn't stick together is difficult.
Eng qiyin joylar shu suv bilan shu olovni yoqish deb bilsam kerak shu oshni. Guruchimiz qancha suv yeydi, olovni qanaqada yoqish kerak, tagiga olib ketmaydimi? Shu narsa deb o'ylayman men.
When the rice is done, the steaming plates are removed and the rice is fluffed into the mix. The entire cooking process takes around 6 hours and
Damn.
is a labor of love.
So this guy's up early to
odamlarga
make
bir
this.
yaxshi osh qilib, bir odamlarga osh yedirib, oshing shirin bo'libdi yoki shuni o'zi bizga bir bunaqa xursandchilik, qiziqish.
Once mixed, generous portions of pilaf are loaded onto plates. In Uzbekistan, there are over 120 recipes for pilaf that use some combination of meat, vegetables, salad, and raisins.
That looks great. I would try that. For sure, I would eat that.
Pilaf in Uzbekistan is typically served with a fresh tomato and crispy onion salad. But there are plenty of other condiments and toppings you can add.
Wow, look at all that.
Oshni endi bezashu har xil bedana tuxum, qazi, qartala, bexila qo'yib yesangiz, qo'shib yesangiz bo'ladi.
Sheesh.
And everyone has their own part they enjoy the most.
Oshni eng yeyishli qismi paylari, ilili suyalarini solib beradi.
I was gonna say they threw the meat in there with the bones and everything, so you might get lucky and get a plate that has a big piece of bone on it, and you just get it, and others might not get that, right? So I guess it's kind of luck.
O'sha sabzilik, chiroyli go'shtlarni ham tutilib turadigan osh eng yaxshi osh hisoblanadi-da. Umuman hamma osh o'zi zo'r osh. O'zbeklarimiz juda ham yaxshi shirin
She has
tayyorlashadi.
golden teeth. Did you see that?
Each plate
Her teeth
costs
were
around
gold-plated.
$1 to
What the hell?
$2. And while pilaf is now a relatively cheap and ubiquitous meal in Uzbekistan, it wasn't always this way. Up until the 1930s, pilaf was mostly eaten by wealthy families and reserved for special occasions like holidays and weddings for
So
everyone
that's
else.
funny. Now it's like an everyman meal. You go there, you get a lunch for a relatively inexpensive price. That's like a gourmet meal. Back in the day, it was actually a gourmet meal.
Today, many Uzbeks eat pilaf 3 to 4 times a week and sometimes skip the meat altogether.
Yeyman haftasiga bir martami, ikki martami. Biz endi shuni ichida bo'lganimizga
No, I can totally see that. That's
anaqa qilmayman.
exactly like when I worked at food. Like you don't really want the food there. Like I would eat when I worked at the food place. So it was everything yogurt and salad cafe. First of all, I wasn't into salads, so I wasn't eat that. But we had like sandwiches, panini sandwiches, and smoothies and things. Like literally maybe twice a week. Like he said, I would eat there and I would make a sandwich or a wrap. And other days I would actually go buy food elsewhere. You might say, well, why? If it's cheap or free where you're working, because you get tired of it. Like you're working with those same ingredients, that same smell, all of that every day. It kind of almost becomes not appetizing to you. Even if it is delicious and appetizing, it just becomes unappetizing because you're so used to it. You're like desensitized to the flavor. So you end up not wanting to eat it anymore. Okay, let's go to the next video. That was a good one. This guy again. We've seen this guy many times before. I don't know if we'll
Hey
watch
kids,
all of these.
so we all know that, as far as living things go, humans win, not even a contest. But it turns out, if you hop to the next genome over and look real carefully, you can actually see a basic version of a lot of the stuff that makes us so great. Here's some stories about what chimpanzees can get down to in the right context. Talking about chimp tails. Now, North Korea's Pyongyang Central Zoo has a colorful history.
What were the chances? I swear this is not the same person who submitted both clips. We just watched a video about North Korean propaganda on social media, and now we're learning about Pyongyang Zoo. This video is louder than me. It seems like these different videos have different volume levels, do they not? Because how is it that certain ones are better than others? All right, I will lower the volume to about here. Hopefully this is better. Thank you for telling me, by the way. I appreciate that. Oh, I think... Oh, no, my mic is correct. Okay, I want to make sure it didn't get rid of my mic boost. It didn't. Okay, hopefully this this video sounds better. I lowered it. Okay, ready? Here we go.
From its humble beginnings as literally just 50 badgers in a fence, to the parrot they taught to recite poetry praising Kim Il-sung, to being the only place in Pyongyang where you can look at a dog legally, it seems the only thing that's remained constant throughout this zoo's life is that it's fucking depressing. Fortunately, both workers and animals alike found ways to cope, one of which is smoking. Azalea the chimp is currently 13 years old and is one of the shining stars of Pyongyang Zoo, purely for her ability to burn through over a pack a day.
Wow.
Now I like a good old-fashioned smoke smoking chimp as much as the next guy. But whereas most zookeepers would probably try to talk her out of something so unhealthy, the North Korean ones actually gave her supplies, just like, feeling trapped, welcome to the club, pal. Her skills are actually pretty impressive. Not only can she use it later, but in a pinch, she also knows that old schoolyard trick of lighting one ciggy with the other. Just a shame that her mind wasn't put towards something a little more healthy or productive. Nah, you know what? That's pretty dope, actually. I'm happy with that. Flashback to 1954. A chimp named Congo was born in the London Zoo. Little did anybody know, this ape was a prodigy. Out of curiosity, one of his zookeepers, named Desmond Morris, decided to give Congo a pencil and a piece of cardboard to see what he'd do. Almost immediately, he started drawing some rudimentary lines and shapes.
Oh yeah, that
Morris was
symbol,
like,
yeah,
"Whoa,"
right.
and decided to let him try painting on for size. And what he saw was incredible. Congo created these beautiful renderings with a blend of realism and self-expression that would make even the great masters stare in awe.
Do you believe this? Do you believe that the chimp actually painted like that? I don't know if I believe that. That sounds like a bunch of horse shit. I don't. If they had shown like very basic painting that was decent, I'd be like, yes, dude, that's like a fucking artist, a professional human artist made that. I don't believe that at all. That's correct.
No, just fucking with you.
Ah,
They're
you
garbage.
dickhead,
But for
there
a
you go.
non-human, there's still something to be appreciated here. Congo had at least a very basic sense of composition.
What an
Like,
asshole.
you can see there's some balance to the
What an
images. Matter
asshole.
of fact, when his hand
All
would
right.
make shapes on one side of the page, Congo would deliberately mark up the other side to maintain some kind of symmetry. He also had an artist's sense of self-entitlement, because whenever his owner tried to take away a picture before Congo thought it was finished, he'd literally go apeshit, all throwing a fit and screaming till they gave it back. But hey, painting done by a chimp. You know who likes pointless novelties like that? The incredibly rich. In 2005, 3 of Congo's paintings were up for auction next to works by 2 obscure little artists known as Andy Warhol and Pierre-Auguste Renoir. And while the 2 actual artist pieces went completely unsold, these 3 beauties got picked up for the scant price of over $25,000 US dollars. And the guy was like, wow, I felt something for a second there. I really like the watermark on this, by the way. Like, this is my painting done by a chimp. Anyway, next we have this beast called Washo. Washo was the first non-human creature to learn to communicate through sign language. That's right, eat shit, Coco. Prior experiments in chimp communication had attempted to teach him some basic spoken language, but after realizing that chimps are physically incapable of making most of the noises we do, they decided signing would be the better option.
So wait a minute. Is this chimp the actual premise of the book Congo? Did you ever read the book Congo by Michael Crichton or see the movie? There's actual gorilla that learns sign language and then becomes like befriended by humans, and then they try to release it in the wild later, and it tries to sign to the gorillas out there, and they don't understand what it's saying. I wonder if this is actually the basis of that story.
Washo was raised in an environment similar to what a human child would experience, complete with toys, clothes, chores, and even being allowed to sit at the dinner table, in spite of what the Bible clearly says about that. The scientists raising Washo made sure to only communicate in American Sign Language around her, in the hopes of establishing a true conversational rapport. Initially, they took a traditional Pavlovian approach by rewarding proper use of a new sign with food and tickles. But there were a couple problems with this. Firstly, the simple action reward setup meant that Washo didn't have to really understand the words she was signing, the same way a parrot saying I love you in a YouTube video always does it with those cold, unfeeling eyes. Secondly, Washo would break into a laughing fit whenever they tickled her, to the point where the lesson would be essentially over. So the researchers abandoned this and instead just let her learn through observation of her caretaker signing, with much better results even in the total absence of reward stimuli. And the only downside was that the job title of designated chimp tickler ceased to exist. In total, Washo learned around 350 individual signs in ASL, and she'd even use these to formulate novel phrases for new objects. Like one time she wanted to talk about a thermos, but didn't know what a thermos was. She goes, metal cup a drink. Hey, scat, scat! A similar story comes from a chimp named Lucy, who was raised by one.
We'll watch one more. We'll watch one more, and then wait, this is long. We'll watch one more.
Dr. Maurice Temerlin and his wife Jane.
Actually, you know what? No, because that next video I actually want to watch. Let's go to the next one about marketing from influencers. This I want to see. This next video I might watch in its entirety. Let's see how long this one is. 12 minutes long. I think I want to watch this in its entirety. How money works, how influencer businesses actually don't work. All right.
Influencer-run businesses are a multi-billion-dollar industry, but they are usually a terrible investment for everyone, including the influencer.
Let's make a video! Prime Energy.
Ryan Reynolds is best known for his on-screen performances, but behind the scenes, he is a ruthless venture capitalist with 2 9-figure exits under his belt before the age of 50. In 2018, Reynolds acquired an unspecified minority stake in Aviation Gin from Davos Brands, a New York-based distributor that had purchased the brand in 2016 from House Spirits Distillery in Portland.
Does drinking Aviation Gin make you feel like a superhero? I wouldn't know.
Yeah, look at his face.
Reynolds used his star power to promote the gin and drive sales from 15,000 cases a year to 96,000 cases a year, according to the financial services firm Jefferies.
And then we had our children, and that's when I realized that I love gin.
The liquor market is dominated by well-established brands that customers show a high degree of loyalty to. The market for alcohol in America has also stagnated, with younger consumers choosing to drink less or not at all as a healthy lifestyle choice or a way to save money. In a declining and rigid market, a 540% increase in sales over just 3 years is a clear sign of how effective a dedicated influencer-led marketing campaign can be. The liquor giant Diageo, that already owns brands like Johnnie Walker, Smirnoff, Bailey's, Captain Morgan, and their own gin brand Tanqueray, recognized the potential and purchased Aviation Gin outright in 2020 for $610 million.
Wow.
Well, I love marketing.
Reynolds followed up his success by purchasing a reported 25% stake in the telecom startup Mint Mobile in 2019. He repeated the process of promoting the company to his audience to increase the customer base, and then sold the company to another legacy industry giant, T-Mobile, for over $1.25 billion, which with Reynolds' stake should net him over $300 million before taxes.
Wow.
In just 5 years, Reynolds was able to leverage his fame to make north of $500 million on top of the money he made from his day job as an actor.
I think I can now say that I've done pretty well in the business. I mean, you know.
Reynolds is just the latest celebrity to make headlines for selling their business to a big company for a ludicrous amount of money. George Clooney had his own tequila company that he had also sold to Diageo for $1 billion.
Here's the thing, though. Like, I can't hate on him for that. Like, a lot of people would say, oh, he's just a rich dude. He fucking did it smart. He wasn't obnoxious. He just presented himself as his own comedic self. People like the guy. And because of that, people bought the product. I couldn't tell you if Aviation Gin is any good. I couldn't tell you if Mint Mobile is a good mobile service. But people like the guy. So based on that, he sold product, and now he's rich and doesn't even have to deal with the product anymore because he sold both of them, right? So can you really hate on someone for that? I don't think so. You know, he wasn't some scumbag who stepped on other people to make that money. He just wisely positioned himself in those products and now made tons of money doing it, you know?
Dr. Dre had Beats by Dre, and Jay-Z had Tidal that he sold to Block for $302 million.
I don't know what Tidal is.
Businesses are nothing new, but the rise of the internet influencer is making them a lot more common. Social media influencers can't monetize their audience's attention as effectively as traditional celebrities that make music, movies, and TV shows, because there's usually no direct cost to access their content.
When you see a tweet or an Instagram post from one of your favorite celebrities showing off the good life with a cool outfit, a new beauty product, or a beautiful vacation spot, there's a chance the star has a good reason to tell you about it.
Yeah, no shit.
Money.
Someone who pays to watch or listen to content is always going to be more valuable than someone who watches for free. YouTubers can run ads through Google AdSense and have dedicated video sponsors. But at current ad rates across the platform, a creator would need 5,000 people to view their video to generate as much revenue as just one movie ticket sale. YouTube is also the most monetizable of influencer platforms. Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook do offer ad share programs with creators, but the rates are usually a couple of cents per 1,000 views. A TikToker would need more than 1 million views at that rate to make the same revenue as one movie ticket. I understand that this isn't a one-to-one comparison. Movies are feature length, not 60 seconds or less, and movies have large production and marketing budgets. But making content isn't free, and independent creators are spending more and more money to stand out in the increasingly competitive marketplace for attention. So, influencers have gotten to the business of business. The model is simple. An influencer will promote their product, which gives them a competitive edge over other businesses that need to pay for traditional marketing campaigns. Influencer businesses only work in high-margin, consumer-focused products that typically have large marketing spends like liquor, fashion, cosmetics, and fast-moving consumer goods. Gatorade spent $59 million on marketing in America in 2021, according to company filings.
Wow.
If Logan Paul and KSI can get similar market recognition without spending that kind of money on traditional advertising, they will have a business that is far more profitable and valuable. Business-to-business products and products that don't rely on large advertising spends gain much less from being run by an influencer because their business edge is the free advertising they offer. If you study this space for long enough, you will realize that there is not much variety in influencer businesses, and that's just the first problem out of 4. So it's time to learn how money works to find out why influencer businesses are—
This isn't nearly as interesting as I thought it was going to be. This is kind of boring, right? This is pretty boring. I mean, essentially what he's saying is if you're a celebrity, you can make tons of money based just on your celebrity. People will buy stuff because you're a commodity people want, but you're not always constantly putting yourself out there. If you're a YouTuber or an influencer, you are constantly putting yourself out there, and therefore you have to find ways to make money. Well, one way is free promotion of something, because you know what I mean? Like, it's unlimited free promotion, I guess. You don't have to spend as much money to market something. But, man, this isn't nearly as interesting as I thought it would be. I know I'm getting kind of bored too. Here, let's just fast forward a little bit. And just maybe from the middle see if there's anything I'm interested in. I couldn't find number 1. I found number 2, which is the influencers, what?
Influencers don't own them. Logan Paul and KSI's Prime Energy is majority owned by a distribution company called Congo Brands. The professional internet idiots each own 20% of the business, and the other 60% is controlled by the distributor. Bringing a food and beverage product to market is a very difficult process. The brand needs to get FDA approval, find a producer, and work with distributors in dozens of countries. I am sure that Mr. Paul and KSI are very smart men deeply down, but even if they did have the skills to manage such a difficult product rollout, it would consume a lot of their time. As businessmen, their time would be better and more profitably spent screaming into a microphone, getting punched in the face, and selling NFTs to their impressionable young audience.
Oh, he called him out. He called him out for the NFT scam that he ran. I'm surprised he still hasn't gotten sued for that, by the way.
Using a company with experience to make an upfront investment and handle the operations was a good deal for the duo. Most other influencer businesses use experienced distributors to handle their products. I will use myself as an example for some self-serving promotion. I recently launched my own merch shop to give people a fun way to support the channel. Instead of finding my own suppliers and setting up a warehouse, I just signed a distribution contract with Spring. They handle the website hosting, manufacturing, payment processing, and distribution for a cut of the profits on whatever I sell. So this hoodie made some YouTuber $6 is the whole truth. I knew this was a risk. If the supplier dropped their quality standards, people wouldn't blame them. They would blame me. If the influencers don't own the company selling what is supposed to be their products, they can lose control of their brand's direction and end up contractually bound to a product they no longer support or being forced to provide positive PR for decisions they were against. In November of 2010, the Kardashian sisters announced that they would be launching a prepaid debit card called the Kardashian Card. The card was a horrible financial product. It came with numerous fees, including $99.95 just to open an account. It also came with a monthly fee of $7.95, cost $6 to close.
If you don't use the money that's in there, they actually deduct it or they charge you.
And featured a $2 charge if the customer tried to pay a bill online. The sisters were not the ones that created the card offering and the fee structure. They outsourced that to University National Bank, but they were the ones dealing with the bad press. The third problem with influencer businesses is that there are too many of them. New social media.
All right, I'm bored. We already know that influencer businesses are terrible. They're stupid. All right, guys, thanks for watching DSP versus the Internet. I hope you're enjoying. We are moving into the final hour now. So thank you, and remember, if you want to be a part of the fun next week, please consider becoming a member, either Ultra Member, to get a guarantee that we will watch your video 4 times a month, 1 a week, or Submissions Tier, where we're in this randomized playlist that we're watching right now. Okay? Thanks. See you in the next part.